Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte once again lambasted who he feels critical of government's war on drugs. He also challenged his critics and vented ire on the Commission on Human Rights during his latest TV address. Our Malacanang correspondent Argil Heducos has that story.
Typical of his personality from the time he became mayor of Davao City, President Rodrigo Duterte never minced word in castigating critics of his actions against illegal drugs during his latest television address. It was initially announced as an address that would reveal the latest lockdown arrangements in the National Capital Region and neighboring provinces once Duterte speaks to the nation Monday night. While Duterte indeed revealed quarantine measures that night, the fighter in him emerged towards the end of the TV airing when he lambasted critics of his government's war on drugs.
Drug really destroys the spirit of a nation. Kasi ang biktima ninyo gunggong na eh. Wala na talagang pag-asa, of no use to society anymore. And you destroy the dreams of parents na makita nila anak nila nakatapos that someday mag-asawa, mag-anak, then they can see their grandchildren. You destroyed that dream. So ako, I mean to keep that dream true.
As expected, Duterte vented his ire on the Commission on Human Rights during the TV address.
Every day, you see drug cases either busted, arrested, killed, at running into millions ang amount. Napakatorpe naman itong human rights. Pag hindi kayo ano ang ninyo? Magbagbilan lang ng patay? Putang ina din, maglipat kayo ng trabaho. Huwag sa human rights. Punerarya. Kung yan lang man ang trabaho ninyo. What about the social problem? The serious and grave problems of drug addiction in this country. What are you doing about it?
Meantime, the president still has an advice for those who are still into illegal drugs.
Gawain kong gusto ko para sa bayan ko. That's it. Kung walang kung gano'n, walang istorya. Umiwas ka sa droga, magtanim ka sa bukid, dyan sa palengke, maraming negosyo dyan. Huwag kang magpabili ng droga. May pera dyan, malaking pera dyan. Pero pag magkamali ka, buhay mo talaga. Ang iiwan mo.
For MB Now, this is Argil Heducos reporting.
About half of the persons who died from COVID-19 were never admitted to hospitals based on the Department of Health data. During the Senate Committee of the Whole's hearing in the alleged corruption in the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation last Tuesday, Senator Joel Villanueva learned that 48% or 1,286 of the 2,687 deaths of the novel coronavirus disease fatalities had not even been brought to health facilities. Villanueva also noted that 73% or 7 out of 10 active COVID-19 cases classified as critical were also not getting any treatment in medical facilities. But Health Secretary Francisco Duque responded that the government continues to expand the country's healthcare system's capacity and the construction of intermediate isolation and quarantine facilities for patients categorized as mild and asymptomatic to decongest hospitals. As of August 18, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases have soared to 169,213, with 52,665 of them still active. A total of 112,861 have recovered, while 2,687 died due to the disease. Malacanang said stricter COVID-19 measures will be imposed on the National Capital Region, even though it has already reverted to the general community quarantine after a 2-week stricter lockdown. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque made the statement as Metro Manila and 4 neighboring provinces return to GCQ on Wednesday until the end of the month. Roque said that the Interagency Task Force, or IATF, for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases has approved on Tuesday evening the request of NCR mayors for a stricter GCQ. According to Roque, there will now be a curfew from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the entire NCR, and that local government units can issue quarantine passes even in GCQ. Roque said the government will start the aggressive implementation of localized and granular lockdowns. Quarantine passes will be a requirement in these areas. Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque announced today a few more guidelines regarding the general community quarantine being imposed in the National Capital Region. Roque made the announcement this afternoon via the state-run PTV4, and here is Secretary Roque.
Yung mga negosyo nag-o-offer po ng personal care, aesthetic procedures and services, bukod po sa mga salons at barbershop, mga gyms, fitness studios, sports facilities, testing and tutorial centers, review centers, internet cafes, drive-in cinemas, pet grooming services ay mananatili pong sarado. Sarado po itong mga establishmentong ito sa ilalim po ng GCQ. Yung mga dine-in restaurants, mga salons and barbershops and lahat po ng mga serbisyo except full body massage ay papayagan po. Pero ang lokal na pamahalaan po ang magsasabi kung gaano po ang magiging capacity ng mga dine-in restaurants, salons at mga barbero. Siyempre po yung mga lugar na under localized or granular lockdowns, kinakailangan ng quarantine passes. Bahala na po ang LGU kung gusto nilang mag-require ng quarantine passes sa lahat ng kanilang mga mamamayan. At lilinawin ko rin po, habang nasa GCQ po tayo, allowed po ang mga motorcycle backriding. Pero kung ang allowed po ito kung ang pasahero ay APOR, yung authorized persons outside of residence. Kung pareho po ang address nila, hindi na po kinakailangan ng barrier. Pero kung magkaiba pong address nila, kinakailangan yung angkas type na barrier. Kinakailangan po ang driver at ang pasahero ay merong helmet, merong mask, at meron pong face shield, no? At kinakailangan po pribado yung motorsiklo at hindi po ginagamit na parang taxi.
A fisherman caught a deep-sea giant fish in Oras, Eastern Samar, hours after the strong quake that rattled the central Philippines on Tuesday. Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources in Eastern Visayas Director Juan Albaladeo said there is a big possibility that the earthquake shock wave spooked the Opah fish, causing it to surface on shallow waters in Tubabaw Island in Oras Town. Fisherman Armando Amos of the town Santa Monica Village caught the fish through hook and line. The 65-kilo fish, commonly known as moonfish, is a deep water species found 500 meters deep into the sea. The Opah is a warm-blooded fish, which makes it a high-performance predator that swims faster and sees better. He said the fisherman sold the fish at the local market at 200 pesos per kilo. Meanwhile, a COVID-19 cleanup drive at the House of Representatives resulted in the discovery of a reticulated python at the Batasang Pambansa grounds in Quezon City on Tuesday. A House security personnel disclosed that the python was discovered sleeping a few meters from the perimeter fence while ground maintenance workers were starting to clean the complex. The python, measuring around 4 to 5 feet, was turned over on Wednesday to the Biodiversity Management Bureau Wildlife Rescue Center. In Metro News, opening of Pasig's molecular laboratory delayed as lab staff await training. Makati City to give donated Chinese traditional medicine to COVID-19 patients. And Taguig City locks down workers' quarters, household due to virus clusters. More in this report.
The polymerase chain reaction or PCR testing machines procured by the local government of Pasig are now ready according to Mayor Vico Soto. However, Soto posted on his Facebook account that residents of Pasig may still have to wait a little longer for the molecular laboratory to become fully operational as the staff training required by the Department of Health through Research Institute for Tropical Medicine Training for the facility's accreditation has been postponed. The facility is also equipped to conduct enhanced chemiluminescence immunoassay or a CLIA testing, a type of antibody test that uses blood samples to determine if a patient has been exposed to the virus and if it has been developed antibodies against it. According to Soto, the machines installed at the laboratory can be used to detect other diseases such as dengue and HIV, among others. The traditional medicine Lian Hua Qing Wen will be given to patients with COVID-19 in Makati City. The local government unit of Makati said the donations will be given to around 1,400 COVID-19 patients. Mayor Abigail Binay personally accepted the donations, which were coursed through National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon Jr., who was tasked by President Duterte to oversee and help Makati with its COVID-19 situation. According to Chinese Embassy, Lian Hua Qing Wen is used to treat medical to moderate cases of COVID-19 in China. Recently, the Food and Drug Administration approved Li Huan Qing Huan, but only as a traditional medicine and not for COVID-19 treatment. The Taguig City government has put a workers' quarter and household under quarantine for 15 days after 38 persons were reported infected with COVID-19. In an advisory, the Taguig Safety City Task Force announced that the workers' quarters of a firm in Barangay Palingon, Tipas will be on lockdown for August 19 to September 2. The firm reportedly conducted a reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction test or PCR test on 52 people, 18 of whom tested positive for the virus. The workers' quarter was cordoned off to prevent entry and exit of people and will be manned around the clock by a team. Affected individuals will get social and economic assistance from the city government, and the city will take all necessary steps to both support of needs and of the household under lockdown and secure the rest of the neighborhood from an outbreak.
And now the top news in other parts of the country. Baguio registers highest number of recoveries in a single day. Quarantine caretaker charged for raping LSI in Leyte. And 3 tarsiers released back to the wild in Sarangani. More from this report.
Baguio City listed 14 coronavirus disease recoveries, so far its highest, while recording 4 new positive cases with 1 death on Tuesday. The number boosted the total number of healed patients to 146 out of the 259 confirmed patients. With the recoveries, the number of active cases in the city has been reduced to 105 with 8 deaths. The City Health Services Office reported that 90% of the COVID-19 cases in Baguio were found to be asymptomatic and with mild symptoms, while 10% are moderate to severe. Authorities have filed rape charges against a caretaker of a coronavirus disease quarantine facility for allegedly raping a 44-year-old locally stranded individual in Villaba, Leyte. The suspect was identified as Ronnie Condes, 49 years old, a job order employee of the Villaba Municipal Government. The victim alleged that she was raped twice by the suspect on August 15 and August 17, which she reported to the nurse in the quarantine facility. The suspect threatened to kill her if she would report the incident to the authorities. Villaba Mayor George Veloso ordered the arrest of the suspect and was immediately terminated from his post. The Provincial Environment and Natural Resources Office or PENRO in Sarangani freed 3 Philippine tarsiers back to the wild in Alabel town on Monday afternoon. According to a report, Engelberto J. Grant together with his men found the small primates in Grant's farm at Barangay Bagakay. They then surrendered the 3 tarsiers to the office of PENRO Officer Renato C. Domingo. The tarsiers were then examined by an in-house veterinarian of the Sarangani Environmental Conservation and Protection Center before releasing it to the wild.
In world news, coronavirus vaccine should be mandatory in Australia, according to the Prime Minister. Pakistan to conduct trials of Chinese coronavirus vaccine. And offshore refueling deepens fears for South Africa's Penguin Haven. Let's watch this report.
Australia should make any coronavirus vaccine compulsory for its 25 million citizens bar medical exemptions, Prime Minister Scott Morrison said, wading into a heated ethical debate. After reaching a deal for the country to manufacture a promising vaccine being developed by AstraZeneca and Oxford University, Morrison said getting the jab should be as mandatory as you can possibly make it. Anticipating a backlash from vocal anti-vaccine activists, Morrison said the stakes were too high to allow the disease to continue unchecked. The Australian government estimates that up to 95% of the population would need to be immune to the virus for it to be eradicated. Although Morrison said he was optimistic one could be developed by early next year, with manufacturing taking just a few months more. Pakistan regulators have approved final phase testing of a Chinese-made vaccine against the coronavirus in the country's first ever clinical trial of its kind. According to Pakistan's National Institute of Health, regulators have approved the testing of a vaccine underdeveloped by CanSino Bio and the Beijing Institute of Biotechnology, China. The medication is already undergoing phase 3 trials or large-scale testing on humans in China, Russia, Chile, and Argentina. Saudi Arabia will also take part. The coronavirus has claimed more than 6,000 lives in Pakistan, but cases have been dropping for several weeks. Cargo ships refuel within 5 kilometers of the world's largest breeding colony of African penguins, near the South African city of Port Elizabeth. But the species' numbers have dwindled in the tourism hotspot, raising alarms among environmental experts, despite assurances from the government and maritime companies that the practice is safe. Scientists are also studying whether the noise, pollution, and increased ship traffic could affect the marine animals. They are particularly worried that vibrations caused by the activity may drive away those that rely on sonar to hunt fish.
In entertainment, actress Catherine Bernardo's Batangas trip vlog with her boyfriend Daniel Padilla went viral. The couple documented the trip via her YouTube vlog. They visited a wellness resort along with their family and dogs. In the video, Catherine shared the activities they did at the resort, like swimming, yoga, and eating healthy foods, among others. According to her, they had treatments to help boost the immune system of their bodies. The vlog has gained more than 1 million views as of this writing. Pitch Perfect cast have come together anew for a virtual performance to raise funds for the United Nations Children's Fund. Actress Elizabeth Banks, one of the film producers, shared on Instagram the Barden Bellis performance on Beyoncé's Love on Top. According to Banks, the money raised from the downloads of the Bellis performance will go directly to UNICEF to help children in Lebanon and people around the world who need support. In sports, San Miguel Corporation Sports Director Al Francis Chua bared today that 2 of the 3 PBA ball clubs under the SMC banner have already taken their swab tests at the company's health facility at Ortigas Center in Pasig. The testings were done 2 days before 9 other pro teams are scheduled at the Makati Medical Center. Players and coaches of San Miguel Beer and Magnolia had their real-time RT-PCR tests Tuesday, all yielding negative results. The Barangay Ginebra San Miguel Kings had theirs this afternoon, with the outcome made available late last night or early this morning. Talk and Text, Meralco, NLEX, Rain or Shine, Northport, Alaska, Columbian, Phoenix LPG, and Blackwater have RT-PCR test appointments tomorrow and Friday at Makati Med, a hospital owned by the MVP group of companies. Chua, the Kings team manager and representative to the PBA board, believes his team will pass a swab test as well, lifting the last barrier for their return to practice as approved by the Interagency Task Force and Joint Administrative Order signed by the Games and Amusements Board, Philippine Sports Commission, and the Department of Health after a 5-month lockdown precipitated by the coronavirus outbreak. And for our featured stories today, the historic walled city of Intramuros is nominated as 2020 Asia's leading tourist attraction in this year's World Travel Awards Asian edition. To show your support, go to www.worldtravelawards.com/vote and make sure to register to create an account. Wait for the confirmation email to verify your account. To cast your vote, select Asia from the region menu. From the list of categories of outstanding votes, choose Asia's leading tourist attraction and then vote for Intramuros, Philippines. Our country, the Philippines, is also nominated in other major awards such as 2020 Asia's leading tourist brand, Asia's leading dive destination, Asia's leading beach destination, and Asia's leading wedding destination. Deadline of voting is September 24, 2020. The World Travel Awards is the most prestigious, comprehensive, and sought-after awards program in the global travel and tourism industry. Apart from fun, Manila Bulletin Viber stickers and its Viber community, Manila Bulletin continues to expand its reach and make news and information more available and accessible. Recently, the publication launched its online newsletter where subscribers can expect to be fully informed about the day's latest news and today's trending topics. The newsletter will be sent directly to your email, just like the olden days newspaper boy that delivers newspaper right at your own doorstep. The Manila Bulletin's newsletter is a surefire way of getting news in just one click and delivered to your own inbox. It also serves as your gateway into the Manila Bulletin's website. You may subscribe to the Manila Bulletin newsletter by logging on to the link posted in this video's caption. And those are the news on web today, August 19, 2020. For more news and details, get your copy of the Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.